Do it. Yeah, okay, fire. Sorry, I was having technical difficulties again. So, and just know I actually have it every single time. Whatever. Today's extra special because you're getting 2 episodes in one. You're getting double feet. You better be happy. Be happy. I'm gonna try to sum this up as quickly as I can. So, the way I see it is I could sum this up in one of 2 ways. And my favorite thing about this is I tell you the options as if though you're gonna choose, but you're not, because I'm gonna choose. One of them is I could genuinely do it by episode, or I could do it by couples until I have to put them all together. I don't know. Wait, let me blah 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 blah. Okay. It kind of looks like, for the most part, I can go by Arnold and Tua, like their whole breakdown from both episodes until it intertwines with everyone else. And then this is so loud. And then I can acknowledge that Raffi and Rome and Jack and Dean are fairly intertwined together, which, are we shocked? No, whatever. So we're going to go that way. Episode 4? Yeah, episode 4 was titled Have Fun, No Drama. That's a lie. That's a lie. Having fun and only friends means that there's drama. So, not my business. Episode 5, to my knowledge, that is where we are, is super objective. I don't know what that means. I don't know. Hey, I still feel like this is so loud. I'm gonna turn this down. Okay, let's go with Arnold and Tua. So, they're out fabric shopping, since, as we know, Tua's in charge of costume design for the play. And it's Super Bowl, you know. While they're out fabric shopping, oh my god, this girl shows up and is like talking to Arnold, you know, and she leaves, and the whole time Tua like doesn't say anything while they're talking, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, who is this? Hello? And then Arnold like watches her leave, and Tua asks, he's like, who's that? Like, is that your friend? And he was like, I don't know if you call her a friend. And I was like, are you like messing with me right now? I was like, are we really doing this? Making Tua see your past love affairs? What is this? And that's not what was happening. It turns out that they were friends in high school. And then she was like, on graduation day, confessed that she had feelings for Arnold, and then he didn't say anything and essentially rejected her, because that's what that means. And he then started talking about it, and he was like, yeah, you know, it's just because we were such good friends and I really liked our relationship as friends, and I didn't want to ruin that by dating. And then he was like, I would never date a friend. Not in this lifetime. Yay! Yeah, he was like, I'd never date a friend in this lifetime. Like, that just sounds like a mess, because then, like, if things don't work out, then, oh, we're not friends. Then, like, we're not friends anymore. Like, it ruins everything. Whoops. And then it goes and does one of those little, like, interview moment type ordeals that you see that happens. And Tua's talking about it. He was like, I feel like I just got indirectly rejected. Like, I'm not feeling too cool right now. And he did. He totally did. Yeah. Hey, man. It happens. Okay. The next thing about Arnold and Tua also interjects with Boston and what he's been doing in the show, dude. I'm so sick of Boston, dude. I'm so sick of Boston. So I'll let you know what Boston's doing. We got to see a scene of Boston at his home, or at his studio apartment. That's what I guess he has. He said he has a studio and so his apartment, so I just assume. I don't know. Maybe that's presumptuous of me. Who knows? And he's looking through physical copies of pictures. He's printed. Would it be printed? I don't know. I don't do photography, so I don't know the lingo that we use. And he moves one. Guess who it is? It was so loud. Me blowing out this mic, but I want you to know I was tweaking, dude. It was Nick. It's Nick's pic. He still has Nick's fucking picture printed out. I just said a bad word, dude. The video just started. I will let you know. Don't even worry about it. He has Nick's picture still printed out, dude. That's insane. That's crazy. And based on the look that he gives that picture and just the overall vibe of what's going on in this moment, you can tell Nick is haunting Boston's narrative, dude. Nick is haunting his narrative. And it's because if we're so for real on a technicality, Nick is totally Boston's first love. It's just Boston's Boston, and love is not his game. He can't do it, you know? He doesn't know what's happening. And frankly, he messed up way too bad after realizing that was the game he was actually playing. So whatever. No, yeah. So Nick is still haunting Boston's narrative. I love that for him. I really hope they bring Nick in the show. I don't know if they will, since Nick's actor is actively in a pairing. So I don't know if they spoil us like that or not. I don't think so. And then under that picture is the picture he took of Tua. And then Tua shows up. At his apartment. Boston is a little excited about it because he thinks they're about to have a moment. And he's like, can I get you a drink? And Tua said, no, because I'm only here for one thing. I'm going to make it quick and I'm going to get out of here. I don't want to be here. He said, I want you to quit shooting the behind the scenes. I want you to get away from this project and just get out of here. I don't leave. And Boston's like, yeah, I'll do it. If you tell Jack why I'm leaving. Said, I'll do it if you tell him. And what's the reason gonna be? We slept together and you're upset about it? Because it meant more to you than it did to me? Yeah, you go tell him that. Obviously, Tua doesn't do that, so Boston's still there. Yay! I'm so happy. And then Boston later at some point catches Tua and Arnold just having a nice moment together. They're having a sweet little moment together. And Boston sees that. And he gets a smile on his face. And I don't like any moment in Only Friends that involves Boston smiling and having a good time, because that means it's a bad thing is gonna it means something bad's going on up here and I'm gonna have a bad time. And I was correct. So he my goodness. what ends up happening is Boston hits up Arnold over message and is like, hey, you should model for me. And Arnold, he looks at it, he doesn't respond, he plans to ignore it, but then he's like, I'll pay you money. And as we know, Arnold needs that money. He actually, genuinely, a quote he said was that he'll do just about any job for money. So on a technicality, Tua could always just pay him to date him. You know, listen, that's not my business. It's not my business. But that also was the first thought I had. I thought that was funny. That's not my business. Okay, whatever. And he ends up asking Tua about it. He was like, hey, like, Boston hit me up in the DM and he wants me to model for him, and he said he'd pay me. Like, is that okay with you if I do that? Because if you don't want me to, I won't. And Tua tells him, he's like, girl, it's fine, go for it. I'm not gonna stop you. Get your coin. I'm not as fine. You're like, because Tua understands that obviously Arnold needs money, and Tua's like, I can't even imagine having to go through and like do all that you have to do, because he does get more financial support from his family and everything. So he's like, yeah, go for it. Like, I'm not gonna stop you from getting your coin, girl. Make that money. I don't know what that was. And so that happens, and I don't know which of these comes first. BT dub, whatever. If the DM came first or what I'm about to say came first. So at some point, Arnold and what's his name, Dean, are practicing. Like, they're doing one of those like chemistry workshops, you know, to like just one of those workshops that actors do to like make it seem like they like each other, because they need to look like they like each other for the play, or else the play doesn't work. Whatever. And while that's happening, obviously they're able to like do it, and it seems all good. Whatever. Boston tries to make Tua a little insecure, because your name's Boston and you're awful. And he's like, dude, look at that. Like, they have really good chemistry. Look at how much they like each other. And Tua hits him with they have to for the play. He's like, they're acting. They're actors. He's like, are you kidding me right now? Girl, because if we remember, Tua's like best friends with Dean, and he knows Dean is way too far up Jack's whole ordeal to ever really think about another person. It's insane. Arnold does end up modeling for Boston. While he's modeling for Boston, he tells him, he was like, hey, I kind of want to let you know one of the main reasons why I like agreed to do this, like the biggest reason he agreed to do this is because he wanted to tell him off. Serve. And he does. He tells him, he's like, hey, I agreed to do this because I want to tell you to leave Tua alone. Like, you're making him uncomfortable, and I want you to stop doing that. He doesn't like you. He's not interested. You need to back off. Boston hits him with okay, and who are you to say that to me? Like, do you like him? Or, like, what's going on here? You'll never believe what Arnold says. Arnold obviously doesn't say yes, you know, because I feel like we would know by now. Instead, he says that he's not sure about his feelings for Tua. he says that he doesn't know how he feels about Tua. All he knows is that, like, he has love and care for Tua, and he wants what's best for him, and that he's well aware that Tua's way too good for Boston, so Boston needs to back off. Yeah. Boston tells him, he was like, yeah, and I'm not gonna, he said, and if you're not sure about your feelings, I'm not backing off. I'm not backing off, because I know what I want. And then he starts touching up on Arnold, and he's like, I'll back off if you give me something more interesting. A more interesting offer. Girl, just close your mouth for once. I'm sick of Boston, man. God. Right when that's happening, you'll never believe who walks in. That's a lie. You will. It's Tua. Tua walks in, and Tua immediately hits him with a "What's going on here?" Cause he's walking in, and all he's seeing is Boston touching up on a shirtless Arnold. Oh yeah, Arnold was shirtless for the photo shoot. Probably should have said that. Whatever, not my business. And immediately they separate, and Boston starts talking about it. And he was like, yeah, you know, what's going on is Arnold was trying to tell me to leave you alone. And he was like, yeah, he was trying to tell me to leave you alone. And I was telling him I was interested in you. And then he was like, and then what did you say your feelings for Tua were? Huh? What were you saying about that? And essentially makes Arnold tell Tua that he's not too sure what his feelings for Tua are. And then Boston's like, if I remember correctly, Boston's low-key, like, he's standing directly next to Tua. And I think he's low-key feeling up on him a little bit. And he goes to kiss him. He goes to kiss Tua. Tua's just standing there. I don't, like, dude's having the worst time ever right now. The whiplash from your long-term crush being like, I don't know what my feelings are for you, to the dude who you hate try to then immediately kiss you after when you're, like, in shock, you know? You're not he's not there. He's not there. I don't know. Arnold, he sees this. He immediately grabs Tua, pulls Tua to him, and he starts kissing on Tua. I don't know what's happening anymore. I'm overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed. And listen, and it doesn't get better. By the way, I paused the show once we hit this point because it was too much. I had to take a second. Because then Boston comes over. They're kissing. Arnold and Tua are kissing. Boston comes over. Boston starts, like, holding on to and, like, grabbing onto Tua. And as soon as those two stop kissing, he tries to go in to kiss Tua, and Arnold pushes him away and, like, makes him back up. And then he takes Tua and they leave. What was that? What was that? What the heck was that? But I was so scared. I was so nervous. Listen. And then it didn't get better. Because now they're at someone's place. I think it's Tua's. I don't know where Arnold lives, so I just assume it's Tua's, dude. Arnold takes Tua home. They're sitting on Tua's couch, and they're talking about it. And he wants to have a talk about their feelings for each other, and he admits to him that he's interested in him. And Arnold doesn't really say anything, and he was like, what about you? And then he was like, I'm not sure about my feelings for you. He was like, I don't know. I don't know. He was like, well, I like you. And he was like, you, and he said, I need time to figure this out. And he said, you got time. And then he starts kissing him. I don't know what's happening. Seeing you got time and then kissing him immediately after is insane. Like, what, he had 2 seconds? Was that? I don't know. Oh my goodness. Tua's kissing Arnold. Arnold is not kissing back. I'm like, this is awful. Dude, at no point is this good. But then Arnold does start kissing back, and I'm like, okay, we're fine. They separate for a second. Tua brings it back up again. He was like, you have time to think about it. Don't even worry about it. Like, you're good, girl. You're good. And then they're showing us Tua's hand, and Tua's hand is on Arnold's leg, and then he's inching it up and up and up, and then Tua grabs Dick. What are we doing? Dude? What? At this point, I'm freaking out because what are we doing? We just kissed each other for the first time, not as like a little experiment or as like a little joke or whatever. I don't. Yo. And you decide this is time to then start grabbing? Girl, Tua, stop, this is a bad idea. He doesn't stop. Brings up, you got time, blah, 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 blah. And then, Arnold furthers it, and they have intercourse. What? I don't know, man. I don't know. What? Girl. Oh my god. Next morning, Tua is alone on that couch. Arnold's not there. Arnold left a note. He said, you look like you were sleeping really peacefully and I didn't want to bother you, so I left. Oh! That somehow makes this situation worse. Oh my goodness. And it doesn't get better. Dude. It doesn't get better because then, dude. Tua goes and he meets Arnold at the little dance studio or whatever at the school because Arnold be dancing, you know, and he meets him there, and he proceeds to he brings him burger. Gives him burger. And then he's like, so, did you figure it out? You know, implying like, did you figure out your feelings for me? And Arnold hits him with the, figure out what? Figure what out? I hate men. I don't listen. I can't do this. And it was like, your feelings for me. And he said, oh, right. Yeah, about that. I think we should just be friends. What? Dude. Imagine this. Your like best friend who you've had a crush on for a very long time admits that they're not too sure about their feelings for you. You guys sleep with each other. Next day says, I think we should just be friends. Let's not ruin this. I fear it's already ruined. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. Tua agrees. Idiot. Tua's like, yeah, okay, like, that's fine. And Tua's obviously upset about it. He's obviously upset. He's not happy. He thought it was finally happening. He thought he was getting his, he thought he was in. He thought he was good. And he wasn't. What are we doing? What the? What? Let's move on. I'm not even upset about it. Now we're at the Jack and Dean and Raffi and Rome, okay? And I'm thinking I'm gonna get less dramatic than I was in the section I was just in, okay? I'm hoping. I got way too into that. I don't know. I'm still reeling it in. So, I guess, I guess on a technicality, doing Raffi and Rome first makes sense. Okay. It begins with it begins with Rome DJing, you know, because he DJ, girl. Raffi comes up to his DJ booth, drunk, very, very, very drunk. He's trying to get with him. And Rome's like, yo, dog, you gotta back off. I'm DJing right now. I'm DJing, you know? And Raffi is physically throwing himself on Rome. And Rome's like pushing him on. He's like, yo, dude, you're tweaking, dog. And then he hits him with he makes some sort of comment about the fact that, like, Rome doesn't mind doing it in, like, somewhat, like, public places, you know? Because at this point, there was the pool incident, which I'm still disgusted about. There was the bathroom incident. There was the car. Like I said, they've never done it in a bed or in, like, an enclosed room. It's insane. It's only been in public. I don't know. And Raffi's like, dude, no. Sorry, Rome's like, dude, no. Like, I'm DJing right now. And Raffi gets upset. And he's like, you said I could have you whenever I wanted. And I want you now. Raffi makes a different DJ or whatever take over for him for a sec. And he takes Rome out of there. Rome makes a different DJ take over him and he takes Raffi out of there. I don't know. Their names are too close. This is hard for me, by the way. Because I'm trying to do this fast. And Rome gets upset with Raffi. He's like, what are you doing? What are you doing in there? Like, you're tweaking, dog. You need to chill out. Stop this. And Raffi's getting upset because Rome won't get with him. And he was like, you know what? And if you're not going to get with me, then I'm just going to get with anyone else. He said, fine, whatever. And he walks over to some random dude. And he starts, like, chatting him up. He's low-key throwing himself on this dude. And the guy's like, what's going on? Like, the guy's not here for it. Rome goes over. He takes Raffi off of him. And he says, come on, we're leaving. He said, if you're going to be wild like this, at least be wild with me. And I said, what? What are we doing? Don't reward this behavior. He doesn't. He just takes Raffi to his home and, like, they go to bed. That's it. And the next morning, Raffi's confused because he's like, I don't even know, like, how he got here. Like, I don't know what's going on. And Rome's like, you were tweaking last night, dude, and you were trying to get with people, you were trying to get with me, and I wasn't letting it happen, so I took you home. And he said, you don't even have to worry about it. We didn't get together or anything because I don't get with drunk people. I was sober, and that's not cool. And I said, okay, T, because I know there's a bunch of DJs that totally would. Girl, T, serve. I love that. Serve. With confidence, by the way, we are well aware that Raffi got as drunk as he did because he was really upset over seeing Jack and Dean make out with each other in episode 3. Girl, it's not gonna happen. Let it go! I'm getting riled up. I'm hype. I don't know what's happening. And then, oh yeah, and then Raffi starts making comments to Rome about like how much he's into the music stuff and whatnot. And Rome's like, yeah, dude, I literally told you I'm trying to be a world-class DJ. I'm trying to get up there. I'm trying to get up there, girl. Leave me alone. And he starts going, he makes food for Raffi to consume, and then he starts playing with his little DJ set. And he makes a comment to Raffi about it, and he's like, you know, when I become super famous and I'm gone, because he's got to go do his shows across the world, he was like, you can listen to my playlist when you miss me, since his like YouTube thing or whatever is just like videos of him DJs, so, like, you can see him in the videos. And Raffi makes a joke about it, and he was like, I wouldn't miss you at all. Sorry, he actually wasn't joking. He said he meant that. He meant that. he said that with confidence. He said, I wouldn't miss you at all. I don't care. And then he proceeds to secretly subscribe to Rome's YouTube. Not my business. And then, sorry, I'm way too in this right now. Raffi's car breaks down. He has to go, like, meet his mom. And Raffi's car breaks down, so Rome offers to drive him. And, he drives him. And apparently it's, like, a talk show interview type ordeal that, Raffi is to participate in. Because it's, like, a family show or whatever. And Raffi's, like, famous for being his mom's son. Because, like, his mom's super famous, which we already are aware of. Rome stays and watches the whole thing. Because, you know, he drove him, so he's just right back. And in the interview, the mom mentions how Raffi's going to be the lead in his school play, which is a lie. Because no, he's not. No, he's not. He's not any of the leads. It's insane. And post-interview, Rome is in, like, his little dressing room or whatever. No, Raffi's in his little dressing room, and Rome pops in, and he's making jokes with him, and he was like, you know, if you don't want to do these interviews, like, you should tell your mom no. You should tell her that you don't want to do them, because it's clear that you didn't want to do that. And he was like, I can't do that. I can't do that. You don't understand. You just don't get it. Ah! And he was like, oh, whatever. And he was like, yo, it's crazy, though, that you told your mom that you're the lead in the school play, and you're not, dude. He was like, that's insane. Gloat much? And he essentially tells him, he was like, I actually didn't tell her that. I actually didn't tell her I was the lead in the play. She filled in the blanks herself and came up to that conclusion all on her own, and now she's told everyone. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's cool. And he tells him, he's like, I know I'm not the lead. I know I got a supporting character. I wouldn't say that. Like, leave me alone. Don't make fun of me. He's tweaking. He's tweaking. He's losing it. He's really embarrassed right now. He's actually very embarrassed right now. And Rome tells him, he was like, dude, like, I'm not making fun of you. I promise. Like, that genuinely sucks. That really sucks. I'm sorry. The next subsection technically will intermix with Jack and Dean, so we gotta hold off. Whatever. Shoot me with a gun. Actually, does it? Part of it doesn't. Whatever. No, because technically I'd be giving away information. Okay, one thing I can tell you, though, you get to see a conversation that Rome has with his dad, where he brings up that Rome is, like, doing DJ stuff for the play. Rome's dad brings it up, and then he was like, why are you doing that? Like, I thought you were focusing on be DJ, get famous. And he was like, I am. He was like, this realistically helps. Like, it gives him exposure. And then his dad kind of starts ripping on him. Starts ripping on him. And he was like, you know, I kind of wish you were more like how Jack is, where when he wants something, he goes all in. Any project he does, he goes all in. He's all for it. He's fully in there. And he said, I would just hate for you to disappoint me. Hey, man. What are we doing? What are we doing? Whatever. You know, the classic dad bit. The classic supportive dad. Okay, now we're on to Jack and Dean before I have to do intermingle. So, Jack and Dean, they're hanging out. Dean tells Jack. He tells Jack he wants him to start dating again. Are we shocked? No. Moving on. Jack says no. Jack says no. Oh my god, wrong one. Fixed it. Jack says no. And he tells him, he was like, I can't do all that for you. I can't do all that for you. He said, we're not good for each other. He says, we're not good for each other. Like, nothing's changed, you know? We don't mix well. I'm crazy and possessive. I'm crazy, jealous, and possessive. Like, it's not good. We love a self-aware queen. It's cool though, because he's like, you know what? I can fulfill one of your requests. And then he proceeds to unblock Dean, which was a previous request Dean had made to be unblocked. Which Dean's excited about. And Dean specifies to Jack that he's going to become a new Dean. He's going to transform and be better so then they can start dating. You know, why not? Why not? And if I'm honest, as someone who has then watched like an hour and a half more after that of how this is going, it's going great. It's going great. This won't be a mess at all. It won't be. It's only friends. It would never be messy. They would never do that. What's wrong with you? Why are you so judgmental? Chill out. Acting like you know only friends. You don't, girl. Come on. Chill out. Whatever. And then it shows Dean at school, and all the peoples, they're gossiping about him. They're gossiping about him being the host, James Dean. And they were like, oh, like, I wonder how much he costs. Like, he be sleeping with people, you know. But like I said before, he's a host in a way of he just hangs out with you. He does not sleep with people for money. Doesn't do that. He gets up on a table and he announces to all the peoples. He addresses it. He's like, he was like, yes, I was a host. I did not sleep with people for money. Like, it was just a genuine, honest job where all I did was just entertain and hang out with people. And I did it to support myself and to support my family. He said, and if you want to try to hang out with me, it's not going to cost you $10K a night. I was $15K a night. That's my rate. And I said, oh, yo, we're in the wrong industry. Clearly, we're in the wrong industry. Just saying. And then he notices Raffi, who's on the second story of the school, stares straight at him and addresses the person who released the video and tried to defamate his character about how this doesn't bother him. It's not going to take him down. It's like, he's not going to back down from this. He's not ashamed. And kind of to watch out. Obviously, Dean's cracked the code that it was Raffi based on that interaction, and Raffi is upset about this. Whatever. This is cool. Later, Dean has an audition for a ad that he wants to be in, and he this is my favorite thing, by the way. He's talking to Jack about it, and he's like, oh, I really want you to go, and he's getting over dramatic about it. He's getting really over dramatic about it. He's like, I really want you to go, and Jack's like, I can't. And then he was like, yeah, I know. He was like, I just feel so much better if someone was there. It feels so much better if someone was there with me. Like, if you came, And he was like, and Timmy and Tua can't come. They're busy. And Jack was like, yeah, I gotta do this work. And he was like, yeah, but realistically, you could do the work there. And then Jack was like, no, I can see you after. And then he said, and this is when he starts getting over dramatic, because we didn't really start getting over dramatic. We would never. Dean would never do that. Okay, Queen. And he was like, yeah. And if it goes badly, and if I start crying, I'll just sit there and I'll cry alone. I'll cry by myself, and then I'll come see you. And I'll be all nervous because I'm all alone and no one's there with me. And then Jack hits him with why are you being so dramatic about this? Why are we being so dramatic right now? He's like, fine, I'll go. Stop. You're good. He goes, he does the audition. The peoples do like him. They do like him. But then, Dean goes to the bathroom. And Jack is still there. And Jack overhears a conversation where they say, Dean's not gonna get it. Dean's not gonna get it. Even though Dean did really good, he's not gonna get it. Why? Because Dean doesn't have that many followers. Dean's not popular on the internet or anything like that. And realistically, the brand that this ad's for, they want someone more popular to get their brand more out there. Brad? What? Their ad. What was that? I think I had a stroke. It's fine. Get their ad more out there. And so they're not gonna cast him. Woo! Jack overhears this. He does not tell Dean this. He gatekeeps. Girl boss. And then after that, they end up going to the bar. And they're at the bar with Timmy and Tua. Tua, he's physically there. Mentally, he's not there at all. He looks so distraught. He's on his phone. And it's because this, while they're at the bar, is when Boston is doing the photo shoot with Arnold. So that's why, Tua's so distraught at the bar. I didn't mention this. At some point, when it's just Timmy and Tua at the table, he sees Boston's, story. He posts that they're taking pictures, and, you can see that Arnold's shirtless, and Tua leaves. That's how that's why he shows up. He doesn't trust what's going on. He said, Arnold's shirtless, I don't trust this anymore. I gotta go. And Timmy drinks by himself. Whatever. So yeah, like I said, we're at the bar, and Dean walks away because he's like, oh, I'm gonna go get us more drinks. And he's walking. Some dude grabs his butt. Some random dude starts grabbing on him, and he's like, hey, what's wrong with you? And that guy makes a comment about it. He's like, well, you're a host, so you sleep with guys for money. How much is me grabbing on you like that gonna cost me? Huh? Dean starts fighting back immediately. He says, I don't sleep with people for money. And I used to be a host. I'm not anymore. And it doesn't matter how much you pay me. I would never be a host for someone as ugly as you. Get him! Get him! What? What? The guy then gets up. He gets real pissed. He gets real pissed, and he punches Dean in the face. I keep clicking the button. He punches Dean in the face. Dean's bleeding from his lip. He punches the guy straight back. Don't even worry about it. But the guy's there with his friends. And so the friends, like, one of his friends grabs onto Dean. And so essentially they're about to jump Dean. But then Jack shows up, throws that guy off of him. And then he goes to start beating on him. And they decide they don't want the smoke. They don't want the smoke. They're fine. They're good. They leave. They say, we don't want the smoke, dog. We out. Don't even worry about it. We're good. We're fine. Later. And Jack takes Dean to his apartment and kind of helps him, like, with his lip injury, whatever. By the way, they did not tell Timmy or Tua that they were leaving before they left. So Timmy is genuinely at this bar alone drinking. He's living a life. He's living a life, dude. Dean decides he knows what he wants to talk about while Jack's helping him with his wound. He thanks him for helping him with the fight. He was like, I'd be getting jumped right now if it wasn't for you. He was like, that's crazy. And then they're having like a heart-to-heart moment where Dean hits Jack with a, do you still love me? Yo, what are we doing right now, man? What are we doing? We're getting too ahead of ourselves. Jack responds with a, I don't want to throw that word around. Girl, just tell the man whether you love him or not. I don't like it. It's not that hard. I don't know. You could even lie. You could lie. You could say, I don't know. If you don't want to admit it, you could say maybe, maybe not. Who knows? Say, whatever. What do I know? What do I know? Nothing. And then he says, I know how to tell you. And then he kisses him. Jack kisses Dean, and then he says, I think that answers your question. And that's that. And then they move on. I don't know. Whatever. Jack and Timmy end up meeting with a company who's possibly going to sponsor the school play so that, they have money to put on the plane, build all the stuff, I guess. I don't know. And they're showcasing the actors that are going to be in it. They're showing Arnold. They're showing a picture of Dean. And then they're showing that Raffi's going to be in it. Because realistically, they understand that Raffi kind of gets them some points. And the woman tells them, they were like, well, Arnold's popular on the internet for his dancing. Raffi's famous because of his mom. And she was like, and Dean's not famous. She said, Dean's not famous. Dean doesn't have followers like that. And she's like, the company's more likely to say yes to sponsoring you guys if Raffi was the lead. If Raffi was one of the leads. Instead of that Dean guy. Jack says no. Jack's like, no, I don't want to do that. And they leave. And he's talking to Timmy and he was like, we'll find someone else to sponsor us. And Timmy's like, no, we won't. this was our last resort. This was the last company we could ask. Everyone else said no. And he was like, okay, well, he was like, I don't want to change actors. I want Dean to be my lead. We get it. You're in love with him. Whatever. And also, if I'm completely honest, if I was Jack, I also wouldn't tell Dean I don't want him to be the lead, because Dean is such a diva, and that sounds like a huge problem I don't want to be a part of. I don't want to be on the receiving end of that. Are you kidding me? Kill me. Whatever. He ends up talking to Dean about it. He said, he lets him know. He was like, I think I want you and Raffi to be alternating leads. So like one show would be Raffi and the next show would be Dean. They would just alternate the shows. Dean gets pissed. Dean gets very angry. Naturally. And he's like, why? Like, why would you do that? Why would you do that to me? Like, I earned this. We did auditions. It was fair and square. I earned this. I don't know why you're doing this. And he tells him about what the person said about how Dean doesn't have enough followers. And then he's like, he was like, but you'll always be the #1 actor in my heart. And then he tries to kiss him. And Dean turns away. Dean turns away. He doesn't let Jack kiss him. And immediately he's got an attitude. And he was like, so what you're saying is I just need to get more followers. And he was like, and I'm going to do that? He said, and I'll show you. I can do that. Because I'm not about to do this alternating lead stuff. I earned that. And honestly, good for you. Good for you. Because I love the way that Jack low-key tried to out girl boss Dean in that moment by being like, well, you're just not popular enough, and then telling him sweet nothings to try to make him feel better, and then try to kiss him and like make him forget and like move on and be like, we're all good now, we're fine. And Dean was not putting up with that, because honestly, girl, yeah get it. It cuts and it shows Rome and Raffi talking it up at school. And this is happening after Rome has that conversation with his dad. So he's being extra flirty. With Raffi. He's low-key trying to show out. Because on a technicality, Rome is in competition with Jack for Raffi, and Jack's not even interested. But he's still in competition with him for it. And he's like, you know what? Like, I'm not putting up with this. So he decides right then and there, like, I need to do what my dad said, and I need to go all in. This is what I want, and I need to work hard for it. Dedication, time, the grind. Only hungry hustlers, I don't know. Whatever. Let's move on. But then Dean shows up and ruins the moment, and he starts yelling at Raffi about how Raffi came for his lead spot, and he was like, I don't understand why you do this to me. Like, we did auditions and I won fair and square, and yet you still had to come for my spot. He said, it doesn't matter what era we're in, Nepo babies like you will always win. You guys will always want your way. You guys will always get ahead with your nepotism. You don't earn anything. You didn't work for anything that you get or anything like that. You don't deserve it. You didn't earn it. You get it through nepotism. Insane. But honestly, yeah, honestly, true. Nepotism babies, crazy. Most of them suck. It's just how it is. And Raffi's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, I don't know what you mean by, like, I'm coming for your role. And then it hits the point where Dean pushes Raffi. Now it's a physical altercation. So Rome pulls Raffi away because Raffi's going to try to fight back. Jack runs up, pulls Dean away. And then he finally tells Raffi, he was like, hey man, like I was going to tell you. He was like, but you and Dean are going to be alternating leads. And then Dean yells at Raffi one more time and storms off. Whatever. Later on, Raffi goes and talks to Jack. Jack's in the pool, so they're at the pool again. And it like just gave me war flashbacks, you know? I'm like, yo, Jack, you need to get out of that pool. You don't want to know what's in there, you know? And especially Raffi needs to not be involved with the pool anymore. I think Raffi should be banned from the pool. He's talking it up with Jack, and he like thanks him for giving him the alternate lead position, blah, blah, blah. And he tells him, he's like, you know, he was like, even though I'm happy about it, I wish that this wasn't how I got it. Like, I wish I'd gone it because you felt that I was talented enough and not just because you need me to be the lead for sponsors and nepotism's winning. But, you know, he's chatting up and he's happy. He's happy because he feels like it's a good thing for their relationship. And he views it as a win a little bit. Like, as if those give him an in towards Jack. Which it's not. It's not. Jack's just doing what he has to do to put the play on. I don't know. Raffi's stupid. Raffi makes me so angry. Raffi is, Raffi's like our new Boston when it comes to evilness and making me angry, and I don't like it. I know no one will ever be Boston. No one will ever be the madman, the like devil that he is, but I'm just saying. And Rome sees this. Rome sees this interaction from like the second story, like he's looking into, and he sees them interacting, and he sees how happy they look, and he's pissed. Rome was pissed. And as he should be, girl. That's your girl. Chatting up with your brother that your dad is comparing you to, and who everyone thinks is so much better. I'd hate him too. I don't know. That's not my business. And he ends up, Raffi's getting like changed in the locker rooms. No. Rome's getting changed in the locker rooms, and then Raffi comes in, and Rome confronts him about it, and he's like, "What's up with you being all chummy and him in there? What was that all about?" And you know, Raffi essentially tells him like that he feels like he's gotten in, like it's a good thing, blah blah blah. And Rome kind of hits him with the truth, and he's like, dude, like, that's not true. Like, you don't have an in. He's literally just doing this for the play. He likes Dean. Like, you are delusional. Queen. Serve. Love to see it. And then it cuts, and now it's a... sorry, my nose is acting up, girl. And now it's a different day. This day, I hate this day. It is a time when they're doing, kind of like, what? Not promotion, like, I guess like a fair, you could call it type of deal, like a small little thing, a small little event where they're trying to get money for their play. They're selling merch. They also have different little things going on, so like, Rome's DJing, Raffi's selling off some tote bags he's collected over the years that he doesn't want anymore. Tua is doing like portraits and character drawings for people for money. You're also able to just donate if you'd like. And there's like various booths too. There's also like other things you can buy. But this is upsetting. So there's multiple things that happen. So the night before this event, Dean, he's scrolling on TikTok. We're getting to see various people's TikToks, that's kind of fun. And whose TikTok do we see? Mew's here, and I know how much you love Mew. And I know how much Mew's your favorite character. So we got Top and Mew little crumbs. And I guess they're popular on TikTok for couple content. Mew, social media famous. And I know that makes you really happy because I know you love Mew so much. And I know he brings a big smile on your face. So Dean gets an idea. He was like, dude, if like fan service content is like what it takes to get famous, like I can do that. That's what it takes to get followers. Like I can totally do that. And he goes into Tua's room and he talks to him about it. And he's like, hey, like, you know, we're doing the alternating lead things because I don't have enough followers. And I need to get more popular. And I saw that something that is popular is fan service content. He was like, I was thinking I would do that. And I could do that with Arnold because then it also promotes the show. Not the show, the play. It also promotes the play. And he was like, so I'm here asking you for permission to do that. He was like, because I won't do it without your permission. I would never do that to you. Tua says yes. And then Tua does also admit to Dean that Tua and Arnold had slept together. And then Dean naturally asks if they're together. And Tua says no. That was upsetting. And so at the fair, Dean decides this is the time to start doing the content with Arnold, since the like fair's already about the play, you know. So it's a good time. And he asks Tua to film it for him. Well, sorry, he doesn't ask. Tua offers to film it, which I think was part of like the plan, you know. He's filming it. Tua does not look happy the whole time. Tua looks very upset. Very upset the whole time, which sucks. I wish before I had to see that, someone would have like shot me in the head and like murdered me. Then I wouldn't have had to see that, you know? But beggars can't be choosers. Whatever. And Jack also sees this, and Jack's really upset. Jack's very jealous, very possessive of his ex that he refuses to get back with and refuses to say that he's in love with. Pick your stance, girl. What's wrong with you? He's pissing me off. He's pissing me off a little bit. I hate to say it. He is. Like, I get it. You don't want to get yourself back in that mess. You understand it's not a good thing. But you're pissing me off a little bit. That's not my business. I'll move on. Also, while this is going down, at some point, Rome decides he's gonna go confront Jack about Jack's inappropriate relationship with Raffi. Woo! He's talking about it. And he asks if Jack has any sort of interest in Raffi. And Jack's honest about it. He says, girl, no. No. And he was like, okay, cool. So if that's the case, No, I actually think he doesn't really say anything. I actually think he doesn't really say anything about it. And Rome tells him, he was like, I get it. You're not too sure about your whole feelings for Dean, but you need to stop leading on Raffi by letting him do what he's doing. He was like, I know you're well aware that Raffi's interested in you, and that's why he's doing all this, and that's why he's acting like this, and it's not cool. And I need you to just pick one and reject the other. He was like, this is stupid, and it's pissing me off. Jack obviously questions if this means Rome's interested in Raffi. And I don't remember what Rome says. I don't remember, but it doesn't matter because it's really obvious either way. I think he says no. I think he says he's not interested and that they're just friends, and like that's why he cares so much, because I think Rome's a little bit in denial if we're for real in the club. Whatever, not my business. And I think also he's probably worried that that'd probably only fuel Jack a little bit more to keep stringing Raffi, you know, just to mess with him, just to dog on him. And then, man, oh man, killing myself always seems so fun because Rome's DJing in the corner. You can see him in the back at his DJ table. And Boston, oh, yay. Boston and Raffi start talking. And I hate both of them. And they're talking. And they start flirting. And it's positive. And then they go out, they go outside. And when they go outside, they're about to start kissing. At this point, Boston has invited Raffi back to his apartment. And Raffi's all for it. Raffi's a big fan. He said, this sounds fire. And then they go to kiss. Rome shows up and pushes Boston, gets him out of the way. And Raffi's pissed. He's so angry. He's like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, I don't understand why you're acting like this. Why you're being so jealous. And Rome tells him, he was like, I'm not jealous. He was like, I'm just doing this because I'm your friend. I care about you. And he said, friend? We're not friends. We're not friends. He was like, we are people who have intercourse with each other. That's it. We're not friends. I don't care about you. I hate Raffi so much. Oh my god, dude. And God, Lord knows Satan himself can't keep his mouth shut. So Boston pipes in. He decides he wants to join in on the convo. And he starts laughing to himself a little bit, and he starts ripping on Rome. He was like, "Oh, I get it. You guys slept together, and now you caught feelings because of it, and he doesn't care." Do you think while Boston's saying that, he's getting war flashbacks to his relationship with Nick? Because it was low-key the exact same ordeal. Started sleeping together, one of us caught feelings and the other one didn't care. They got war flashbacks. Think he was thinking about Nick? He said, I see it right here. Rome storms off. Rome was like, you know what? If this is how like you're gonna be, like, I'm not doing this. You're right. I don't care. Do whatever you want. And he leaves. And then this is the end, by the way. I promise. They're showing us they're gonna do a dunk tank. They're gonna do 2 dunk tanks at this fair. One for Arnold and one for Dean, and they're doing them at the same time. And at the same time, we are content farming. We are farming. Okay? 2 is filming it. 2 is getting very upset. It hits a point where he stops filming it because everyone else surrounding them is getting real happy. They love seeing them together, you know. They're shouting a ship name they made for them, blah, blah, blah. 2 is upset. Jack is pissed. Jack is pissed. Jack is so pissed. Dude. He's complaining to Timmy about it at some point, and he's like, yeah, I get why he's doing this. I get why he's doing this. But he doesn't have to be so touchy. He doesn't have to be so touchy with him. Like, he doesn't have to act like this. He doesn't have to do as much as he's doing. Chill, girl. Chill, girl. You're good, dude. Just tell him you want to date again and get over with it. I don't know. Whatever. I'm asking too much. I'm asking too much. I'm asking too much. Traumatic gay people would never do something like that. Takes one to know one. And then after the dunk tank, Dean is getting changed in a room or whatever, and Jack shows up. And Jack tells him, he was like, why aren't you getting properly changed in the bathroom like how you should be? And he was like, and he tells him, he was like, well, it's not anything you haven't seen before. Oh, got him. Loki, got him. I don't know. And then Jack starts complaining, and he was like, you know, you don't need to do this. You don't need to do the whole content farming thing that you're doing with Arnold. Like, you don't need to do that. And immediately Dean hits him with a what? Like, are you jealous? He was like, are you being jealous right now? He was like, because you understand that I'm only doing this because of you, right? You do understand I'm only doing this because that's the only way I can secure my spot as the lead in your play is if I have enough followers, because I refuse to be alternate leads with Raffi. You get that, right? He was like, so I don't want to hear it. He said, if this is what it takes for me to be the lead, I'm going to do this. Oh, hit him with that attitude. And then he continues. And he was like, see, you still can't separate real life from work. You can't separate your feelings from work. He said, this is the new Dean. And this is what I'm going to do to secure my spot. Get him. Because this whole time Jack's been sitting here and he's been ripping on Dean, and he's sitting here and he's like, oh, you know, you need to separate like your feelings from work so that the play can happen, blah blah blah. He was hitting with that when Dean was upset about the whole Raffi situation, but now that it's the other way around, Jack can't do the same. Jack can't practice what he was preaching. I hate to see a hypocritical man. I hate to see it. God. Ew. Yuck. And I love that Dean put him in his place about that. I love that Dean put him in his place, and he said, oh, that's so crazy. And just flipped and just threw his words right back at him. Said, you gotta separate your feelings from work. See the way this play is gonna happen with me being the lead, right, because it is, and you said that yourself, yeah, yep, so that's what we're currently doing in OnlyFriends. Did I watch the trailer for next week's episode? Yes. I don't remember any of it. Don't even ask me. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what's going on. I naturally assume it's not positive. I almost forgot something! Okay. When it was hitting the point with Raffi and Boston and they were arguing outside, Rome did hit Raffi with I thought you were only interested in Jack, and he essentially tells him, he was like, you know, for someone who's so just interested in Jack and just wants to be with him, you know what's really not gonna help? Getting with his friend. Get him, cause yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm sorry. If you were so desperate to get after and go with somebody, you know what's really not helping your chances? Getting with their stepbrother that they don't have the best relationship with, and then also getting with their friend who's the most evil person on the planet. And who's also most likely gonna tell them. Because Boston never shuts his mouth. I hate Raffi. That's my ending note. I hate Raffi and Boston with every fiber of my being.